Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Tati back with another review of AEW Dynamite. Now, this wasn't just a Dynamite, this was Dynamite Grand Slam. So, how did it go? If you want to know what happened, you're definitely in the right place. Now, before I go into the results, I have to say, them being in New York and having a really great crowd in New York really feels good. I wish that we could watch wrestling every week, whether it's an AEW, ROH or WWE, Impact, wherever, where they would have a crowd that's like this that also helps make the show feel more enjoyable. This was a really great show. I knew that they obviously coming into this, they had a pretty good build coming into it, and everything here just felt not necessarily solid, but everything felt just right. I really did enjoy this show. We started off with Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston as the opener. So you guys know that Claudio's ROH title was on the line, and also Eddie's New Japan Openweight title was on the line as well. Whoever wins becomes a double champion. Now going into this, Eddie Kingston said, "Win or lose, this is it between me and you. We're done after this with this beef or whatever. It's gonna be squashed." When you hear that, and as long as this beef has been going on, you're thinking Eddie Kingston needs this win. However, with the titles being on the line, it makes it a little more difficult to tell which one of these guys is going to end up taking the win. This match was absolutely very emotional. The crowd was super into it. Obviously, Eddie Kingston being from New York, the hometown guy, he's getting cheered. Claudio's getting booed. That's expected, but everyone seemed to be emotionally invested into this, and I was too. And no matter what, Eddie's super resilient, and he really needs this win. And that's exactly what ends up happening. He wins this match against Claudio, and now he's holding both titles. Um, I did enjoy this match. I think, if anything, the psychology and how it makes you feel from an emotional standpoint, because the storyline has been going on for so long and this is supposed to end it, it really grabs you. And then every time one of them go for a pin, you're just like grabbing your hair and you're just like, holy shit, which one of these guys is going to end up taking the win? I was really surprised to see that Eddie Kingston ended up taking this win with a power bomb. When I look at someone like Claudio Castagnoli, I don't see him laying down to three with a power bomb. I understand this is something that's supposed to be um, uh, paying homage to Eddie Kingston's favorite wrestler. However, I don't feel like it really worked well with someone like Claudio Castagnoli. If it was somebody else, maybe. But either way, he ends up winning this match with a power bomb, which I didn't like because it didn't really seem like that was going to be the finishing move. He ends up winning. After this, everyone is cheering or whatever. Claudio has the ROH title and personally hands it to Eddie Kingston, and he just walk away like a bitter Betty. And you know what? I would too. Either way, this was a great opener. This really gets you hyped up for the rest of the show. They started off really great, and I can really appreciate the efforts from both Claudio and Eddie Kingston. Really great match. So up next, we have the Kingdom. They are bedside with Roderick Strong, who's laid up in the hospital after his match with Samoa Joe last week. They have been there with Roderick through thick and thin since he's been in the hospital. And while the Kingdom is just about to get ready to leave, because they're going to have to get ready for their match on Rampage Grand Slam, here comes Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes in the room, and once Roderick realized that Adam Cole is there, he's shouting out, "Adam, Adam, are you here? I can't see you." It's hilarious. Now, Adam comes into the room and he's trying to check up on his friend, and the Kingdom, they're upset because they're like, "Bro, he been laid up in here all fucking week. Now you showing up." And as soon as Adam comes in to see how Roderick is doing, he's already ready to leave because he's going to have to be there for his best friend MJF for his match against Samoa Joe. And Roderick doesn't want him to leave. He wants him to stay next to him, just like the kingdom has been sitting next to him while he's been laid up in the hospital. Now, Adam Cole, he starts to walk out the room, and here comes Roderick pressing the button to the hospital bed to make it sit up, and it's making the most awkward fucking sound. And Cole is just like, what the hell is going on? The there's just so much awkwardness between the two of them. It is absolutely hilarious. Adam Cole ends up leaving anyway, and man, he is coming off as a really shitty friend. So after this, we have Renee Paquette. She's with Luchasaurus and Christian Cage. And Christian is reminding us that they have a tag team match with Sting and Darby Allin for Rampage Grand Slam. And then he offers an opportunity for Darby to go for the TNT title. And Christian says that they're going to have a three-way match. So Luchasaurus, Christian, and Darby for Collision. And then he says handicap match. And then he says three-way, and then he says handicap match. And I'm just like, those are two different things. So which one do you mean? Is it going to be each of you guys for yourselves for the TNT title? Or is really a handicap match where Darby will have to go against Luchasaurus and Christian, and if he can pin either one of those guys, he ends up winning the title. We're not sure exactly what that is right now because Christian does mention having both those types of matches. But then he says, in order for you to have this opportunity, you cannot have Sting ringside, but you can have a little boy with you. Little boy meaning Nick Wayne. This is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen since he's shouting out for both a handicap match and also a three-way match. I do feel like something really crazy is going to be ended up happening between Luchasaurus and Christian. Obviously, Luchasaurus, he's not showing it at this point, but he's probably tired of Christian shit anyway. So that'll be really interesting to see how they go about that on Collision. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. So up next, we have the Ocho, Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara comes down. He is definitely paying homage to Chris Jericho with the light up vest and the colors to his gear and everything. And the guy who raps his theme song, I can't not remember his name to save my life, but he's the one who does a podcast with Swerve Strickland. I can't remember his name, but anyway, all that was cool and nice or whatever. Now, they have their match, and I'm just going to say it. Leading up to this match, I do feel like the fans haven't really gotten into this story as much as they wanted to. And with this match, I feel like compared to all the other matches on this card, this was received not as well as everything else. I do feel like both of these guys really did put their all into this. However, something felt really off with Sammy during this match. Several times throughout this match, a few moves were just not executed the way it should have been. And even some of them, he would have to try to do it again because he was not able to do it. And I don't know what it is. He just seemed to have somewhat of a bit of an off night. And this was supposed to be a turning point in his career, to be honest with you, because this is supposed to be him going against his mentor, someone who's been there for him since the very beginning. If you guys don't know, when Sammy was very, very young, he even have a picture of him with Chris Jericho. So it's really cool to have that full circle moment where, the person you idolize, you become, having a mentor relationship with that person. So here we have Chris Jericho taking the win here. And I think this match went a little longer than it should have. It just felt like it was just dragging out, in my opinion, especially after those few moments that Sammy didn't do so great. Now, after Chris Jericho wins, the two of them are looking at each other and they actually end up shaking hands and they hug. And it seems like everything is all good between Sammy and Chris. But then Sammy, he goes and kick Chris Jericho in the nuts, and the whole crowd just loses their shit. People are just looking so shocked and stunned. And then you just see Sammy standing there in the middle of the ring. And with the camera angle facing towards the ramp, you see in the background Uncle Don coming out. And that just made everyone just lose their shit even more because now that just puts everything into perspective that Sammy has now joined Uncle Don's family. And you know what? I love seeing heels coming up with alliances. It's perfect. And I love that moment. Now, after that, we do have a quick little promo with MJF, who just came in his little convertible or whatever it was. He's with Adam Cole, and he has a message for Samoa Joe. And in the middle of him doing his promo, here's Adam Cole phone ringing, and he's answering it because it's Roderick who's calling him. And I'm like, oh, so this whole time that you've been ignoring Roderick calls, all of a sudden today, when MJF got his important match, you answering his phone calls? And then MJF is like, look, I got this match later on tonight. You're going to be there for me, right? And Adam Cole said, yeah, I'm going to be there. We'll get into that a little bit later. Up next, we had the international title on the line, Jon Moxley versus Rey Fenix. This was a when I see you, it's on site type of beef. And they got it on and popping on the ramp. And that's what I like to see. Now, they have this type of energy with this match that is very high energy. And it was really, really fun to watch. During this match, I do think I've seen probably the most scariest curb stomp that I've ever seen. Jon Moxley gives Rey Fenix a curb stomp, and the way he just landed on his head and just was literally just standing up from his head to his feet was just absolutely insane. It kind of reminded me of that moment at Survivor Series with Psycho Sid and Shawn Michaels. I'll post a picture so you guys can see what I'm talking about. When I saw that, I'm telling you, my neck just hurt just looking at that thing. And I thought from there, Moxley was going to end up taking the win, but the match kept going for a few more minutes. And surprisingly, here comes Rey Fenix taking the win. I could not believe it. Matter of fact, I'm so shocked about it. I'm bitter about it too. I was not happy about it. Now I'm over here damn near about to be in tears, and my daughter is just trying to show me some memes on YouTube or whatever. And I'm like, girl, Jon Moxley just lost the title. We don't have time to be laughing about anything right now. I was not happy about that. Now, when I think about things, Jon Moxley has really been working really hard with AEW. When there were issues with CM Punk and everything, he stepped up when he was supposed to go on vacation. And since then, we've been seeing him consistently, damn near almost every week. So if this is an opportunity for him to have a little bit of vacation, that would be really great for Jon Moxley, because I do feel like he deserves it. They have to keep things in rotation where it's like, it's not always these same guys that are there every night. Some of these guys really, really need breaks, especially the ones that haven't had any vacations in a long time. So I hope Jon Moxley get a chance to just go home and enjoy his family for a time before he can come back. But then I thought also that Claudio had lost his title earlier on the show. So BCC have no titles. Damn, that hurts to say. So up next, we have Toni Storm versus Saraya with the women's title on the line. Um, okay, so this wasn't the best match, no, but I did like that they were still playing off their storyline with the match. So in that case, it was entertaining. I think I'm pointing out that Saraya, I don't know what it is. I feel like obviously they gave her the title since they were in her home country and it was a feel good moment or whatever. But I do still feel like it was a little bit premature. This is what her first match since she won the title. And to be honest, I'm not necessarily impressed. I don't know. Now look, she does have a decent match with Toni Storm, and with them telling the story throughout the match, it does make it entertaining. So we do start off with Saraya slapping around Toni Storm at first when Toni was just, trying to, I think, go for a hug or whatever. And Saraya just didn't really care. She wants to retain the title. So to her at this point, friendship does not matter. Now, throughout the match, we do have Ruby, who is playing a distraction just to make sure that we keep that title on Saraya. Now, at some point, we do have Tony Storm going to get a, bottle of spray paint to spray onto Saraya. Ruby sees this and takes this away from Tony. And then when Tony isn't looking, she throws it to Saraya. And now Saraya has sprayed her in the face, hit her with a nightcap. And guess what? Tony kicks out of that. So I was like, oh, snap. Maybe another title might change hands tonight, but I was doubting that at that point. Now they continue this match, and it seems like the girls do not want to do like harsh moves onto one another, so they kind of refrain from doing certain things with each other, all part of the storyline or whatever. And then here comes Tony grabbing Saraya by the face and kissing her in the middle of the ring. The crowd goes crazy about it. Anyway, Saraya ends up taking the win. She retains, and I'm just feeling like while I found things to be entertaining within the storyline with these girls, I wasn't too entertained about the actual in-ring work here. I just feel like Saraya has a lot more to prove. Just being, I'm sorry to say this, handed the title doesn't mean that you're doing great as a champion. And I just feel like her in-ring work has to really come out, and so people can really see like is it valid for her to be champion at this point. And what I saw tonight, I'm not sold on it. All right, you guys, on for the main event: Samoa Joe versus MJF for the AEW World Title. Now, before the match starts, we get a very interesting moment, and I kept thinking, where did I see this before? MJF and this little kid have this little commercial thing, and I'm just like, I've seen this somewhere before, but I could not remember right there and then. Up until a few minutes ago, I realized Bret the Hitman Hart. So Bret had this commercial where he's walking down to he's backstage and he's going to walk out the curtains, and a little boy sees Bret Hart and he's with his dad, and he screams Bret, and then Bret turns around and the camera's all dramatic with it or whatever, and then Bret goes up to him. The little boy's like, you get him, champ, something like that. Bret takes off his glasses and put it on the little boy. Now, the difference is with what MJF did was he had his scarf, took off the scarf and put it onto the little boy, which was cute. And then he whispers into the little boy's ear. Bret doesn't do this in his commercial though. So he whispers into the little boy's ear and then he leaves. And then the little boy looks at his dad and say, I'm adopted. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. Now let's talk about this match though. Samoa Joe comes out first, obviously being the challenger. And then we have MJF being in his home state. Everyone is loving him. He's getting a lot of cheers. Samoa Joe is getting booed and everything. It's exactly what you expect. Now, while MJF is coming out and taking off all these titles and taking off the scarf, the jacket, and all this stuff, Samoa Joe is in the corner of the ring with his face like, I am going to beat the fuck out of him. And you could just tell that's exactly what he's thinking. He just has this look where you could just tell that's exactly what he's thinking, and that's exactly what he did. Right off the bat, when the match starts, he's going for MJF neck. Now, MJF have been complaining about his neck hurting ever since, I believe, All In. And it's been bothering him visibly. We've been seeing him holding onto his neck and complaining about it. So MJF, is struggling with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe really dominated this match, you guys. This was a really good, no, let me not say good. This was an excellent way to take someone like MJF, who has been known mostly through his career as a heel, and he's been babyface throughout the summer or whatever. And this is a perfect way to keep him looking great as a babyface, but also sprinkle in some heel moments throughout the match and throughout his babyface run as well. So I really, really enjoyed this match. But Samoa Joe absolutely looks like a freaking beast here. And if anybody had any doubts about Joe in any type of way, this match right here would have shut you up. Now, like I said, he kept focusing on MJF neck. And throughout this match, I kept saying, wait a minute, did Adam Cole say he was going to be ringside for his bestie and hype him up? Where is he at? Now, throughout this match here, we have MJF, no matter what Samoa Joe does, he kicks out. He is just struggling to survive. And the crowd, I'm not going to say they was looking nervous, but they're definitely behind MJF. And no matter what's going on, they want him to retain the title. Now, I felt the same way too. I knew that going into this, that Joe was going to look absolutely amazing here. But I mean, why win the title? I don't think it makes sense at this point. Now, we do have a spot in this match here where Samoa Joe is angry and he takes off the padding off the floor and exposes the concrete floor, and he ends up giving MJF a pile driver onto the concrete floor. And then the doctors and the trainers, they all come running out, seeing if MJF is okay. And Samoa Joe is like, y'all better get out the fucking way and let me get this title. And he takes MJF and bring him inside the ring to continue the match. And oh my gosh, I'm just thinking maybe Samoa Joe got a chance of getting this title. So at this point, MJF looks tired as hell, and I'm starting to feel slightly worried. So then we have MJF, who seems like he's probably too tired to continue, and out of the blue, he has the strength of John Cena, and he's able to give Samoa Joe a Liger bomb. And guess what? He doesn't get a win with that. So then, out of the blue, here comes Samoa Joe, putting him into a sleeper. Now, a few seconds later, here is MJF. Before he can start fading from that, he grabs the referee, pulls him close to his chest, and I'm just like, damn, I wish that was me. And then he ends up giving Samoa Joe a low blow. So Samoa Joe ends up, releasing his hands from around his neck. So then here is MJF, our champion, running over to the other side of the ring. He goes, reaches hands into his trunk, and pulls out the Dynamite ring. And he is going to knock our homie Samoa Joe with it. However, the referee sees this and takes it away from Maxwell. And I'm just like, damn, I wanted to see some heelish shit going on from Maxwell tonight. And it seems like the referee is not here for it. So now at this point, we have Samoa Joe who ends up snatching him up again, and this time putting him into a sleeper. And this time, he's literally on the mat fading. And that's when his bestie, Adam Cole, came out from wherever the hell he came from and ran out there. And he is making sure that MJF can see him from across the ring. And he is cheering and being a cheerleader and trying to get him hyped up so he can have the energy to break out of that sleeper and to continue the match. And oh my gosh, they are just getting me from an emotional standpoint. I really love the whole bromancing that they got going on. So now, out of the blue, the referee gets knocked out of the ring and he's on the ground holding onto his knee, and the doctor's checking him out. And I'm just like, I blinked and the referee is hurt. This is so cliche when it comes to professional wrestling. Now, at this point, Max, he has something in his hand. At first, I thought it was a string. You know, the string that they have on the side of the turnbuckle, like when you're doing tag team matches, you're supposed to hold on to it and you can't get too far with the string. I thought he was holding that, but people are saying that it was a chain in his hand. I don't know. He takes that and he puts it around Samoa Joe's neck and he's choking him with it. And after Samoa Joe is starting to fade a little bit, then he gets Samoa Joe into a coquina clutch and he has applied that super, super tight to the point that Joe ends up fading. The referee magically is feeling okay, gets back in the ring, and he checks on Joe and ring that fucking bell. We have our champion retaining the title. This was a really great match, you guys. Everything that you want to feel when you're watching a match, you're going to feel it here with this main event. It was very fun. And that sometimes I did feel like, you know what, if Samoa Joe ends up winning this, like, it started to feel possible at some points. Now, after this match, Samoa Joe looked visibly upset, and I could understand why. And he looks over to where Adam Cole is and MJF. Now, before they can get all celebratory or whatever, Adam Cole actually runs up in the ring and take whatever it is that MJF was choking Samoa Joe with, and he puts it in his pocket. So then Samoa Joe is walking over to them, and MJF steps in front of Adam Cole, like, you're not going to put your hands on my bestie. But instead, here is Samoa Joe doing the right thing as our ROH TV champion. Don't forget, he's still holding gold in ROH. He puts his hand out for him to shake hands with Maxwell, and they shake hands, and he leaves the ring. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. You guys, I really enjoyed this, and I just really wish that, if not every episode, at least with the several shows that AEW has, we can feel that type of excitement throughout the night. And I wish we can get a crowd like how we have with the New York crowd. Now, we do have the Rampage Grand Slam as well, which will be airing on Friday. It's a 2-hour episode. We still have the New York crowd for that. So that's definitely going to help the show feel great as well. So I'm hoping the same energy that we've been feeling towards this Dynamite episode, they're going to travel along to Rampage so we can get a really good show out of them as well. This was excellent. You guys check it out. There's some moments that you're probably not going to like, especially like Moxley losing the title or whatever. But hey, we don't always get what we want in life, right? But I still feel like there was a lot of great effort here from AEW, giving us a really great Grand Slam episode. I enjoyed it a lot. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with my review with Ring of Honor.